Good morning, everyone. All right, I didn't hear it loud enough, so I'm going to ask, are there any procurement nerds out here today? I want you to raise your hand. I want to try something. I want you to raise your hand. And then are there any civic tech nerds out here today? Raise your hand, all right? And then look around and give each other a high five, okay? I want to see some of that. I love it. Now, my name is Michael Owh. I manage procurement for LA County as the director of the Internal Services Department. I know, it's a mouthful. I know many of you here, even some of my procurement nerds, have mixed feelings about procurement. Maybe you feel frustrated, maybe you feel confused, there's probably some anger in there as well, or maybe you're like my family who's always asking, what is procurement? But today, I'm going to share with you how procurement can be the most exciting and powerful work we can do in government today to improve how we deliver better services and impact lives. I actually started my career in public service as a lawyer. I wanted to provide direct services. Procurement was not something I dreamed about, but it's something that I was drawn to as I continued through my career, because I saw firsthand all the ways that procurement made it hard for nonprofit partners to access public money and focus on providing services for the most vulnerable clients in our communities. And it wasn't because the city staff didn't care. And it wasn't because they didn't see the challenges. It was because procurement created procedural gates that nobody understood and drove us crazy. And it wasn't that one person created this mess. It was created by many people over many decades with good intentions. They were trying to create a level playing field and protect public funds. But instead of creating a process that prioritized the city's ability to accomplish its goals, we, the collective we, created a process that prioritized prevented bad things from happening. That's why when I was lucky enough to become the city's chief procurement officer for the city of New York, it was this hallelujah moment. It was this incredible thought. Everything I hate about procurement, I get to change, right? Well, newsflash, it wasn't as easy as that, but during my work with New York, we were able to do things a little bit differently and better serve the people of New York. One example of how leveraging the power of procurement is critical is the universal after-school program that we launched under Mayor de Blasio. My department got the assignment in late January, with programs slated to start that school year in September. Right? We knew we could not do procurement the traditional way. The RFP process itself would have taken 12 to 18 months. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Rather than creating a process to go back and forth with our provider community, we proactively reached out to them. We brought them in so we could collaboratively design the program. How can we operationalize this? How will you hire people in time? How much will it cost? It was a true dialogue. We then leveraged the technology that we had and changed our process in really boring areas like proposal submission and evaluation. With the potential for thousands of proposals, I needed at least 150 evaluators, and I couldn't give them 2 or 3 months to review. I couldn't even give them a month. We did it in 2 weeks. To make it feasible for us and as fair as possible for the service providers, we created a standard application with just 20 questions on the factors that we all agreed were key and required even character limits on what they could propose. Thanks to these tactics, we released the RFP in March, and we were ready to make awards in May. As a result, we awarded hundreds of contracts and got the programs in place for over 100,000 middle schoolers in New York City to have access to quality, free after-school programs. This is what I love about procurement, because it can impact government services in such a powerful and positive way. It also shows what can happen when you just have the will to do something. But I also know procurement doesn't always work this way. Too often, procurement is focused on compliance. It's siloed from programs and lacks a real understanding of the problem. It's like calling a plumber to fix a leak because you see water pooling on the ground. But really, there's no leak. It's because you don't have gutters. And no, that's not just a metaphor. That actually happened in LA County at one of our affordable housing sites. When you call a plumber for a leak, guess what? They're going to look for a leak, right? So how can we do better? I invite you to reimagine how procurement is done. We have to put real people and real people's needs back at the center of procurement. We have to design procurement for the problems we want to solve rather than the things we want to prevent. We have to engage our communities and our suppliers. We have to use more open contracting, be transparent, and base our decisions on data. For example, why can't we have RFPs that use language that people will actually understand? Right? And let's put the important information up front instead of having people hunt for the information. I know, because I've been doing it, that's why I got all this gray hair right now, that this approach and changing how we do procurement is hard. And we need everyone, the lawyers, the program people, and the public. But procurement plays such a huge role in how we deliver all government services. Let's use it as a lever and make procurement for the people. We all need to be the plumber who doesn't just look for the leak. We need to be the type of plumber that looks at the whole system. And sometimes we may have to explore some random pipes, get some power-ups to increase our stamina, shoot some fireballs, occasionally fly. In other words, we all have to be super procurement heroes. All right? Now, one more time, can I hear some procurement nerds? Thank you.